Ladies and gentlemen, Louis XIV was a prick. He's kind of the George Bush of French kings. He erected this monument to himself in 1673. He was celebrating a ruinously expensive and very temporary victory. It's kind of a 17th century mission accomplished sign. I want to talk about Louis XIV today because I think he has some very real lessons for the United States. I also fear that what he did to France and Europe is a lot like what Donald Trump may do to the United States and the world. In the 1670s, France was once again the dominant power in Europe. Their historic enemies were out of the equation. The British were more interested in fighting each other that century, killing one king in 1649 and booting another one out in 1689. The Spanish were choking on a mountain of silver and economically mismanaging their way into centuries of decline, experiencing 10 bankruptcies between 1557 and 1662. In the thuggish 1600s, power was based on how many peasants you had to exploit, and France had more than anybody else, something like 3 times as many as Britain and 50% more than all the divided German states combined. In the small pond that was the Europe of the day, France was the biggest fish, much like the United States is on the world today. Decades of careful work by king's ministers like Cardinals Richelieu and Mazarin made France the master of Western Europe by the time Louis XIV came to power. And what did he do with that power? The Sun King dedicated his very long reign to throwing that weight around. Louis's idea of glory was beating up his neighbors. His biggest victims were the Dutch, whose golden age he helped end, and the Germans. Spoiler alert, the Germans come back in a big way. A very big way. From Charlemagne down to 1870, Germany was made up of dozens to hundreds of separate little states, with their own interests who fought each other harder than anybody else. When Louis's reign began, they had just finished a 30 years war that some estimate killed a full third of the German population. These guys hated each other. But the aggression of 3 Louis and a couple Napoleons got them to put this aside and unite. Today's Germany is the product of centuries of French bullying. This didn't work out so well for the French. The horrors of World Wars I and II eventually led to France's complete defeat. That country's future today, unless something really dramatic happens, is as Germany's number 2. Now, I'm not one of those who thinks that the United States is going to fall next week. We'll be the most important country for decades and possibly even a half century to come. What's important is what we do with the time we have left on top. Obviously, we're far beyond Louis XIV and his thuggish battles for more land and peasants to exploit. But we've done a lot of stuff over the past couple decades that amounts to the same sorts of thing. The world is immeasurably richer and more complex than it was in the 1600s, which means that our thuggishness can be much more subtle. For 25 years, we kept expanding NATO for no good reason. In 2010, we decided to rewrite the entire world's banking laws with FATCA. We're currently pushing the TPP, an attempt to rob China of its life's blood that turns 70 years of trade policy into a racist joke. And I don't think anybody needs to be reminded of what we've done to the Middle East over the past 15 years. We're treating the rest of the world the way that Louis XIV treated Germany. It may take a century or two to get there, but if we continue on the current path, we will pay for it. I'd rather that didn't happen. How about you? Hillary Clinton will probably continue these trends, and that's unfortunate. But Donald Trump has promised to accelerate them vastly. That's exactly what Louis XIV did back in the 1600s when he made France great again. And that's what we'll talk about next time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And if you'd like to help me make more videos like this one, please click on the Patreon link here to find out how. Thanks.